Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Amplify, where we like to highlight movers and shakers. And my guest today is Lynda McCrea. Lynda, thank you so much for coming on Amplify. I appreciate it.
Oh, thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation with you.
Yes. We've actually talked a little bit,
Yes.
had really good conversation leading up to our recording. And I wanted to bring Lynda on because, you know, people's individual journey and storytelling, and it kind of goes into their brand. And I want our audience to know, like, hey, everyone's journey is different, and it could come, the journey that they go through could be lead up to something amazing and can be life changing. And in your case, it was life changing, right, Linda?
It was.
Yes. So your journey is came Squallgirl. Am I saying that
You
correctly?
are. That's it.
Okay. Okay. So Squallgirl came about because you had a medical episode, and it led to you being in a wheelchair and losing your memory for a few months, almost up to a whole year. It's like
Yes.
this is like a lifetime movie
It
here.
really is. It's so hard to believe, even me.
Yes. So tell us, what is Squaw Girl?
So, Squall Girl started very organically. It
Uh-huh.
was when I was recovering from my illness.
Mhm.
I was thinking about all the things, if I didn't come out the other side, what would I miss telling my kids? So
Yeah.
I started writing messages and notes to them and life advice and trying to impart all my wisdom to them.
Okay.
Now, they're boys in their 20s, and I was
Okay.
reading through it. I'm like, this is too mushy. They'll never read it. So I rephrased everything in voting terms
Nice.
and tried to sneak in little points and wisdom with
Got
using
it.
voting terms.
Okay.
So, and that's really how the blog started. And as I was building it, ended up with 10 entries and 20 and 30. Because again,
Wow.
2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning when I'm fighting my anxiety, I was writing.
Got it.
Not all of them came to fruition. Some of them I
Okay.
was like, what were you thinking? Delete. Um, three in rantings. Um, but I thought, should I put together this for a book for them so they can have
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
discussed it with someone and they said this should be a blog. And this is where
Squaw Girl happened.
Squallgirl
Yeah.
happened.
That is awesome. So all this started because of a medical episode you had, memory loss, and you wanted to make sure that you were still, there for, and I'm a boy mom too, so I
Yeah.
get it, right? So you wanted to leave something. God forbid if it didn't work out in your favor, you were leaving notes, but you felt like it was so smushy for them.
It was.
So I like the fact that you used something that you guys related, that terminology, so that they can understand the advice that you were
Yes.
leaving them behind.
Thank you.
So what else? So here you are writing at 2, 3 in the morning. What else did you started to do with Squaw Girl?
I started cooking a
Okay.
lot. I still have freezers full of food. I give food away like people give
Okay.
away advice.
Okay.
Um, Often, sometimes unwanted, but they
Wow.
all get it. But for me, the writing and the cooking was therapy because you have to follow directions and rules and it clears your mind. So if I'm
Oh,
following a
wow.
recipe, I have to measure and I have to chop and I have to
Okay.
accept to do something. So
Yeah.
nothing else could get into my brain in those moments.
I got to write this down. Keep talking. So following directions helped you not to kind of like overthink.
Yes. And it's because
Wow.
you have to come up with a shopping list and then you have to come up with
Okay.
the recipe and then what goes in next. And so
Hmm.
all of those things just for an hour or how long it took centered me.
Wow.
And
Okay.
and then I would take pictures of everything and send to
Okay.
all my relatives. Look what I made today. So I
So,
had all the pictures of the food. I made all the food. I had the blog stuff written down, the messages
okay.
to the boys.
So
And
looking that is I've never heard of that. First time ever that cooking, something like cooking, because it's following directions and
Mhm.
recipes and getting the food and everything to make this
Yes,
dish helped you to overcome the anxiety, the
yes.
overthinking, all the doubt and everything like that. That is amazing. I actually am going to, we're human, especially us women and mamas, right? And we have sometimes that those moments of doubt. I might have to try this, like cooking. I'm not a big fan of cooking, but
You
I
know
have
what?
to
Do something small. A soup is a good one because you
soup?
can't really
Okay.
mess up a soup, but you
Okay.
have to have a lot of veggies. But you can
Okay.
buy the broth and you can buy the rotisserie chicken.
Yeah.
So you can assemble more than cook.
Wow.
So
I
start with things like that.
I love it. I love it. So cooking helped you stay focused, control the anxiety. Was there anything else other than cooking that helped you? Because I think this advice is really good for a lot of us out here.
Exercise.
Of course, exercising.
My exercise bike before I could really get up and move around
Yeah.
to do things more intense.
Yeah.
Um, that pedaling when I felt
Yeah.
that frustration,
Yeah.
I would get on there and I'd probably do 10 miles a day.
Yeah.
And just whenever I get frustrated, I'm like, what are you gonna do? You've already cooked. You already wrote. Can't paint
Right.
the house. Can't talk down a wall. Get
Yeah.
on the bike.
Wow. So I absolutely loved the fact that you really made an effort because some people don't know how to deal and they don't know how to ask for help. That's another thing that I feel us ladies are the worst at that we just
Horrible.
sometimes because we feel like we have to have it all together, right? And but you went ahead and you made it a point to do things that really got you focused and there and healed and helped you heal for your family and for your boys,
Really
you
did.
know?
And cooking and exercising also allowed me to show the boys that I was okay and give them stability because here go the tears. Um, they
Yeah.
saw me at my worst. My family was told I'd be a nursing home nurse my life.
Oh,
They didn't think mom was ever coming home to the house. So it was
yeah.
very important to me, even on my hard days, to put on that smile, make them a meal, to nurture them that
Yeah.
way. So it really was a panacea for all of us in the house.
Wow. And I like the fact that your boys took comfort knowing, "Hey, mama's cooking. She's gonna be okay." And I'm sure the
Exactly.
dishes were amazing and good, so they got a benefit off the cooking as well, right?
They did it. Well, I still they both were in college at the time. So they
Uh-huh.
got a lot of meals sent to them and care packages.
That's awesome. But I just believe in my heart that this advice can help even if it's one person. Sharing your testimony, sharing your
Oh,
journey can help one person because you've told me you said that you shared your journey with other people just randomly and then people open up to you.
well, I've run into people who have said to me that I've
Mhm.
known acquaintances.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm following your blog. And I said, thank you. Like, so why'd you start it? And I tell my story. And then in a very organic moment, they open up
Yeah.
and tell me theirs.
Yeah.
And I've had some of the most beautiful, heartbreaking conversations with people because we as women and men, we
Yeah.
don't take our masks down. We put smiles on our face. We say everything's great. We went on vacation. We did this. And if you look at my blog, you see that I'm on a sailboat and I'm making great food.
Yeah.
But that's not who I am. There's a backstory and a life that I live outside of all this.
Yeah.
And when I was raw and open about what I'm feeling and how I'm doing, it
Yeah.
opened the door for these amazing people to tell me their stories. And it was humbling and impactful.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
don't look
sure.
at people the same way anymore. because everybody has a story, right?
And it gives you a different perspective. Do you feel
Yes,
like you're now more empathetic, sympathetic, like you really can relate to people? And that's all part of your testimony. And, there's in order for us to have a testimony, we have to go through a test. And that seemed
I
to
like
be
that.
you like that?
Yeah, I love that, and that might show up somewhere in my writings. Um,
Yeah.
but
It's
you do look at the world for different lens, through a different lens
yeah.
when you
And
test
the
it.
last yeah. Linda, the last thing I wanted to ask, what does Squaw Girl mean? Like, why the name Squaw Girl? Because you told me why it came about. So why the name?
All right, interesting story.
Okay.
As I was mumbling around through all this writing and picture taking, and Neil wanted to do the blog, and I said, "What am I going to call it?"
Mhm.
I was sitting on the boat with my husband, reading a book. We're on our mooring. Beautiful day. All of a sudden, it got very dark, and the
Yeah.
wind kicked up, and a squall came through. And we were grabbing things, electronics and
Okay.
cushions from blowing. And we went home, and there were trees down, uprooted,
Okay.
and electricity gone. And everything was a mess. It happened within 10 minutes, that quick, this storm. He
Hmm.
said it was a squall. And I said to him, I get it. And he said, what? And it really was a moment for me. I said, I went through a squall. That was my illness. I said, it came on quick. It ripped my roots up. There was debris. Had to replant, had to rebuild. And it was unexpected. And I said,
Woo.
I'm a squall girl. And, but it really was that epiphany. And
Yeah.
I said,
Wow.
I get it. And I've been struggling on what all this was. And I
Wow.
said,
Love it. I
that's it,
love
the
it.
squall girl.
That's what Squaw Girl is. Oh, Linda, we will be hearing more of you. Thank you so much.
Thank
Um,
you.
a guest, and I appreciate you sharing your time, your journey, and your testimony because I know we need to hear more of people's backstories. And again, if it can help one person, worth the share. So thank you so much,
Thank you for
and
having me.
everyone for another episode of Amplify. See you soon. Bye.
Bye. So good.